Hello and welcome to the Root of All Stuff. I'm your host, Kevin McDuffie. Today I had an interview with my brother and sister-in-law, Mr. Andrew King and his wife, Crystal King, and we were discussing what they do for a living and the mess currently going on with COVID-19 and social distancing and things of that nature and how it has been affecting them and in their lives and everyone. Um, of course, in the interview, I made a few mistakes, and I wouldn't be the man I am if I didn't let my audience know about them. First of all, in my interview with Andrew, as you will hear, I messed up who actually lives in my house, which is pretty terrible. But I'm pretty sure I told him that it was me, my kids, my wife, and I told him that it was my wife's husband's ex-wife, which would be my ex-wife, but that's not correct. It is actually me, my wife, my kids, and my wife's ex-husband's wife now, who is currently living with us, and all the animals. So, and we're living in the same house, and things are going well, and we all get along for the most part. Of course, when you're quarantined and you have to pretty well stay inside and stay at home all day, it can be tiring even amongst the best of friends and family, sometimes more so with friends and family. But so far, things have been going all right. Um, and I hope everyone out there is staying safe and, you know, taking heed of the social distancing and keeping safe and it's just a really tough time for everyone right now. And believe me, I understand. I'm one of the many millions of furloughed workers right now who's waiting on unemployment to kick in and everything else. But I've got my head held high. My morale's doing well. My morale's up, and a lot of that is due to what I've just seen as far as what people are doing for each other, and that's great. As far as people helping each other out, and even people they don't even know or normally wouldn't even think twice about. And in a time where we are all having to stay separated and keep our distance from each other, it's really turned out to bring a lot of us together, which is a miraculous thing. And I think it's a wonderful thing, and I hate that it has to be such bad circumstances for it to be the thing. Maybe it didn't have to be that, but it definitely has been. It's been a trial of everyone's patience, determination, and willpower to just keep your sanity sometimes. Um, so without further ado, I'll go ahead and play my interview with Andrew. Andrew, welcome to the Root of All Stuff.
Good to be here, Kevin. Thanks for having me.
Oh yeah, I appreciate you being on, man. So tell me how you guys holding up with all the coronavirus stuff going on right now?
Oh, we're plugging along. It's kind of a wild situation. It's having to learn how to navigate a little bit differently now. But
Right.
all in all, we're doing all right. We both still getting. We're both still working, so
That's a
that's
good
good.
thing. Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm furloughed right now, but hopefully that unemployment will kick in soon, so we'll be
Yeah,
okay. So if you don't mind, tell our audience what you do for a living. You're a music teacher, correct?
yeah. I teach kindergarten through fifth grade general music, and I also teach middle school band. So a little bit of everything, and also teach a music industry class a couple times a day. So keeps
Awesome.
me busy.
Awesome. How does music teaching go now that you're having to go online with teaching and everything? Is that a learning curve or
Definitely a learning curve for both me and the kids. It's everything's going to be video, but I can't just because of certain FERPA laws. I can't video directly with kids, so I've got
right?
to make videos and then ask them to submit videos back. And So it's a lot of back and forth, checking videos and watching that. We don't really do any ensemble playing like we're used to.
Right.
A little bit different. So it's a lot of solo work. So I'm just giving everybody either lines out of the method book or solos or things to help them improve since they're chilling at home with lots of practice time. So
Yeah, I mean, I know even though I was in band in middle school and I've forgotten everything I learned about saxophone and clarinet, but still dabble on the guitar, but that was self-taught. But I know learning music is really, whenever someone's teaching you or giving you lessons, is it's I don't want to say intimate, but it's kind of intimate. It's, you learn a lot by being there, watching someone teach you. If you're a very hands-on learner like I am, it's sometimes hard to just read out of a book and throw it into play, or or watch a video and then try to emulate it. It's not the same as being there. So I understand that struggle.
yeah, it's really difficult, especially the nuances that it takes to make good sounds on an instrument.
Right.
It's all about little tweaks and things, especially with wind instruments. It's like, what are you doing with your teeth? What are you doing with your tongue? How is your air coming out?
Right.
So it's a lot of really visual and like on I guess on demand instruction. So it's really direct feedback. So it's hard for them to like record something and then wait an hour or two for me to watch the video, type up some feedback, and then get it, and then for them to like read it and then be able to apply it. So it's
right. And then even when you get it back, you're either watching a video or listening to the audio as it was recorded, and that's not exactly the same either, even though it's close.
yeah, and it just depends on the setting. If they're outside and the wind's
Right.
blowing and the dog's barking, it's like I give it my best guess, but to be honest, we're all just kind of trying to get through. Yeah.
Well, man, I gotta say, unfortunately, there's not enough, in my opinion. And this is, of course, just an opinion, but there's not enough respect for people like you and your wife and what you guys do musically. I mean, that is phenomenal. As far as your jobs and as far as the sad stuff you're doing that could lead to something bigger, and I hope it does. And for those of our fans who don't know, tell us a little bit about that, how that side gig's going right now, and Crystal and everything else.
So Crystal and I, we live out here in Nashville, and we're trying to make a go at the music scene. It's definitely different than what you see on TV. And if you've ever seen the Nashville TV show, it's nothing like that. But it's definitely a lot of hard work, and it's a slow grind where you just got to get up every day and keep playing and keep working. And with this coronavirus stuff, it's kind of put a big wrench in what we do. We've been working really hard to land gigs and book gigs throughout April and May and the summer months, and a lot of those have just either gone away, or we don't know when they're coming back or if they're coming back. And so that was a huge part of our side stuff. So luckily I've got some recording equipment here at the house.
Yeah.
And so we've been trying to record some stuff and take advantage of this time that we usually don't have because we're out playing.
Right.
So it's a big mix of Crystal writing her own songs and trying to get out there and promote her own music while also playing cover gigs to, make money, and then being able to record your own stuff. And so there's a lot of moving parts that you don't realize. One thing, just the personal advertisement that you have to do. There's so much
you got to sell yourself, and that's hard to do sometimes. Yeah.
So I've had to learn how to do like graphic design and photography. I just recently went to Sam's and got me a nice camera, and trying to dabble in photography to help her out. So, because we can't afford to hire a photographer every time, or else we go broke.
But you're learning some very valuable and awesome skills though along the way.
Yeah, it's definitely been helpful to learn all those things. But I didn't think like, oh yeah, I'm going to be a musician. Like I'll just let the photographer do the photography stuff, and I'll let the videographer do all that stuff, and I'll just be a really good player. And that's definitely not how it goes. Is you have to be able to do it all,
right?
Or else you're only breaking even, and if that. So
Right. It ain't like the good old days where, some guy just comes to a gig and it's like, on the movies,
yeah,
oh, hey, I like this guy played this awesome song. Now we got to hook him up. Yeah.
one in a million that happens.
Right.
But I mean,
The odds are low.
the thing that people don't realize is out here you can make a living as a musician. You might not be the next Luke Bryan or
Right.
the next Casey Musgraves, but you can earn a livable wage by
Right.
playing music, and that's where a majority of the musicians out here are. Is they're
And as I've noticed throughout the years, a lot of local gigs with, people, that are like that are local. Man, some of those are the best bands and single musicians that I've ever heard of. I mean, they are unbelievable. And, the fact that, they haven't been discovered to a lot of us is remarkable. But understanding the industry, that I get it. But it's a real shame sometimes because I'm just like, I've heard some players and some singers like your wife. Man, she sounds better than most record. You guys sound better than most albums I hear on the radio or or recordings and things like that. You guys are great.
well, I
So,
appreciate that.
oh yeah,
Yeah, I was reading a book not too long ago, and it was talking about like what really is the difference between the top 1% of musicians and
Mhm.
then like everybody else who has a decent band. I mean, especially in the Nashville, LA, New York region, they're all
Right.
good. And that's the
Yep.
one thing I realized when I moved out here, coming from good old Hickory. I mean, there's a couple good bands in Hickory, but
Yep.
a lot of times you go into a place and you'll hear, oh, they're all right, or
Yeah.
that singer sings out of tune. But every band around here is like, I mean,
Right.
they're nails.
Awesome.
They've
Yeah.
got it. And there's really not a big difference between those bands and the ones you see on the CMAs. It's a
Right.
lot of it's about marketing, and a lot of it's about the image, and a lot of there's a lot of different factors that these record companies put
Right.
into,
And a lot of them want to know what your history is with just that marketing yourself because let's face it, if you're really good at marketing yourself, it's easier for them because then they ain't got to do half the work.
Yeah, you've already done it. And so
Right.
that's one of the things we work on whenever Crystal goes to like pitch to publisher ideas.
Mm.
It's like you have to have not just a good song, but it has to be recorded high quality. It's got to be fully demoed. You go in and we've got the t-shirts and the koozies and the bottle openers and all
Right.
that fun stuff. So hey, like we do market ourselves.
And that in and of itself is just like starting a business. I mean, there's some overhead in that, and
Yeah.
it takes some time. But I'm proud of you guys. You guys are doing a great job, and like I say, I really hope it works out for you. And I really hope somebody listens and picks you up, and you are that one in a million. And if not, I hope you can do it the hard way, even though that seems to suck more.
Yeah. That's
Um,
I mean, as long as we get to I mean that's the cool thing is like it's what we love to do. So
right.
like we love playing. So
And that's the
if
thing.
I could do that, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, if you can find something you love to do, you'll never work a day in your life, I've been told.
Yeah.
And that seems to be the kick, man. It's crazy. And so for our listeners, go ahead and tell people where we can find you and Crystal and some of your music, so maybe I can help you get the word out there.
Yeah, so Crystal, everything that I do with her, we put under her name, and so just look up Crystal King Music. She's got crystalkingmusic.com, Crystal King Music on Instagram, Crystal King Music on Facebook, the whole shebang.
Mm-hmm.
I also play with another group called the Mike Thomas Band, and we're releasing an album coming up it was supposed to be in June. I'm not sure if I got to talk to Mike Thomas and see if he's still planning on doing that or if we're going to push it back a little bit because of all this coronavirus stuff. So we've got a couple albums going on. Crystal's releasing a new song. It's actually a cover song. It's His Eye is on the Sparrow. It's an old gospel hymn with like a country Crystal twist to it. Yeah, so that's going to be coming out on the 24th of this month. That's one of the projects we've done here at the house.
Awesome.
Crystal King and Mike Thomas are the two groups that we play with the most.
Gotcha. How has it been? Because I mean, when you're a performer of any sorts, musically or otherwise, sometimes that requires live performance. And with all of this going on, I'm sure that's definitely affected you guys as far as, gigs and playing in public and things like that. Um, do you see any potential? Are you guys being able to do anything right now or send out anything like over the internet with people or market yourself at all that way, or how's that
Um,
going?
as of right now, all the live gigs,
Right,
they've been furloughed too. Nobody knows.
right.
I mean, I know I've got the next one that I've got that's still on the books is in August.
Oh man.
So
Yeah, that's a
that's
bummer.
that's that's the next booked gig that I've got solidified, because everything else has been canceled or just said like, hang on, we'll let
Right.
you know if it's still a thing. We don't know if we're going to be open or what
Right.
our financial situation is going to be
Well,
like at that point.
unfortunately, that is part of the aspect, and I really hope that it doesn't last that long, and we can all get back to normal a little bit faster. But I'm still on that kick of, yeah, we might be doing too much, but I'd rather know that I did too much than know that I did too little and more people die. That's just my way of looking at it, trying to stay positive with it. Everybody is. I know everybody's going stir crazy right now, being stuck at home. Me especially, because I'm stuck at home with my wife, my kids, my wife's husband's ex-wife, and 16 animals. So it's quite a gig right now.
Good Lord.
but
You got the
but
patience of
amazingly
Job.
enough, listen to this. Other than maybe a few footsteps there, I let them know that this was happening, and they're all, collaborating with me to be quiet right now, which is amazing.
I think I heard a scream in the background, but I'm
Not a,
sure you'll hear once every one in a while.
yeah, we don't pay those much attention anymore.
I mean, luckily, like you said, like I'd much rather be safe and know that we did it. And the whole thing, we're doing this so that it doesn't get as bad.
Right,
So if nothing happens, that's really the point of everything. So
right.
you know,
It's I understand it sucks, and everybody does right now. I mean, you can't even really go see your friends as much. You can't, I mean, luckily though, we do live in an age of technology where we can do things like this, like on
yeah.
Zoom, and and have smartphones and things like that, to where we can stay connected with folks. I mean, imagine this crap in, like, when we was growing up. How would you talk to anybody? It'd be like slow dial-up connection, if anything, and AOL Instant Messenger and things like that.
Shoo.
Or before that, nothing, just handwriting letters in the mail.
Yeah.
That would be
Golly,
awful.
back in the day, like getting everybody on IM at the same
Yep.
time was like, an act of Congress.
Oh
And
yeah, and it killed the bandwidth on the server every time.
yeah.
It's like you write a message and it might be there tomorrow. But yeah, man, I know it sucks, but people like you who are educating our children, hats off to you guys, man, because this is a strange time to do your job in, and
It really is.
and there is no more important job than that, I don't think, in this country. I mean, really, education is, the key factor in any civilization. So, thank you for what you do, brother.
Well, thank you, man. We're
Yeah,
gonna
man.
we're gonna keep on plugging. I got the word today. Like, even though yesterday the governor closed schools for the rest of the year, we're still gonna be teaching all the way up to May 21st, which was our last day of school, anyways. So
Right.
we're still gonna be doing stuff, sending out, trying to do as much as we can. I know it's difficult, and
Yeah.
every family's in a different spot. Some people have one kid and they're working at home, or
Mhm.
they've got six kids and they're trying to keep up with their full-time job,
Yeah.
working remotely while they're off doing their thing and
Oh yeah.
trying to feed all them and take care of the dog. And
This is
so
definitely a learning curve for the country for sure. But people really are surprising me in the fact that they're stepping up to the plate in whatever they do, or even if they can't do anything. People that are furloughed and laid off like me. Not me, of course, because I suck. But um, I've seen people just doing amazing things around the community. Going trying to sew masks where they can, or just trying to do whatever they can do to help out and be a part of the team that's leading the effort to get out of this mess. And it could easily go the opposite way. People could just be marching in the street and losing their mind, or
Yeah.
I mean, it's really it's a heck of a thing to see people come together, even when they're separated like this. It's wild.
It really is. We've been making masks. I know at church they've been making masks. We got like a little food delivery service going, just going to pick up groceries for people if they don't feel comfortable getting out. Some of our older folks
Right.
at the church.
And they're more vulnerable to it anyway. So I mean,
Yeah.
that's amazing. Yeah, it's good work, man. I just I know it sucks. I'm in it with everyone else, and just want to let people know that we empathize with them.
So let me ask you, Kevin, how's your toilet paper situation there at the house with 5 women?
The white rolled gold. Yeah. Actually, we're all right. Now I wasn't one of the people hoarding toilet paper at the beginning of this. Shame on you if you were one of those. No. What we do every year, and this is just luck of the draw how it worked out for us. Whenever we file taxes and we get our tax return every single year, we just we go to Sam's Club and other places and stock up on things that we just know we're going to need throughout the year. That way we only have to do it once, and it ain't a huge expense throughout the year. And and at least that way we're using that on something we know we need, and not just frivolously spend it on something else, because I mean I'm bad about that. And so
I think we all are. A good redneck is, as soon as I heard I was getting a stimulus check, I was like, I've already spent it 5 or 6 ways before it hit my bank account. I could buy this. I could do this. Oh, I could build one of these. Oh, yeah. I think that's just a good old redneck in you.
Yeah, it's tempting, man. It is. Yeah. And, if you do that, I'm not shaming you, man. It's your money, I ain't going to tell you how to spend it. Yeah. But luckily, we bought a big supply of toilet paper in the beginning of January before all of this blew up. We knew it was going to be like this. And so we've been holding in there steady, even with all the females that live in my house, and even with me. So it's not bad for us right now. I have taken some of that stock and shared it with my grandmother and some other people in the family and friends who needed it. I mean, it's a heck of a thing. You don't want to shit and use pine cones in reverse or something terrible. It's not good. But just the fact that was a thing in the beginning is what scared me. But I mean, honestly, since then, that's the worst thing I've really heard of, as far as people not being able to get what they need or find someone who can. But and that was just because nobody had any. I mean, but but luckily, that stimulus check did come along and help me out, because I signed up for unemployment about 3 weeks ago, and I'm still waiting on a check from that. I haven't got anything yet. So, but luckily I got that stimulus today, so that's helping us out tremendously right now. But the thing is doing exactly what you said, not being the crazy redneck. It just goes out and blows it, because I don't know when the next dime's coming in, man.
I need another shotgun just in case,
Yeah. Nah, it's all right. It's a weird time. It is, but I think as long as everybody keeps their head on the way they have it now, as far as remembering that we're not the only person in the world, and helping others, then I think we'll get through this as a country and as the world. I mean, so I mean, it definitely sucks. It's not like anything we've seen in our lifetime. I mean, hell, I've talked to some people like my grandparents. They haven't seen anything like this in their lifetime. Last thing I can remember that was even close to this in the history books was like Spanish flu in 1918.
Yeah,
and that's and that was terrible and way more lethal, and that was before we really knew what vira were.
They had no idea what was going on.
Right, just millions dying. That's unimaginable. So luckily we live in a time, like I say, where education has taken its course, and given us good science and good engineers and good doctors and nurses that can handle this type of thing and people who can research vaccines for this type of thing. So, I mean, again, if it weren't for people like you, we wouldn't have that. So, hats off to
It
you.
takes somebody way smarter than me to figure this nonsense out.
Well, I mean, but you're still a part of the pathway to someone, who has that,
Yeah.
um,
Fun fact about music, I'll throw this in there. I was doing some research. I'm just recently accepted a job to start a new band program for a middle school opening up next school year. So I was trying to make some stuff for some kids and advocate for my program. And I think it was only 52% of biology majors were accepted into medical school, and
it's hard.
73% of music education majors were
Right.
accepted into medical school. There was more music majors that were accepted into medical school than biology majors.
Hey, man, but that's the
So-
thing. I've realized that, in engineering, and physics and things like that, people that go into those majors, people I go to school with, they, it's that mindset. You can be super book smart, and not, not be able to really put it into practice as well. But people who, have other abilities and talents, such as music, where, it's very hands-on, very, physical learning, it really reflects in how they're able to use those skills in putting problems together and solve them. It's quite an educational tool. And unfortunately, I'm not the smartest guy in the world either. But I do go to school with, and I learn from, and talk to the smartest people I can, and so, and they all seem to have a positive attitude about this, and that definitely keeps the hopes up and keeps the morale going.
For sure.
And it's a heck of a thing, man. I really hope everybody out there is staying safe. But unfortunately, there's always a misguided group or individual among every crowd. There always will be. And if you are that guy, or you're in denial of being that guy, please quit being that guy. for all of us. Because this, but like I say, for the most part, I haven't seen that much of that. And maybe I just haven't seen it. Maybe I'm just not aware of it. Maybe I'm ignorant of it. I don't know.
Maybe it's because we're doing what we're supposed to be doing and staying home.
Right. I'm not out a lot, so I can't say what's going on, honestly. But from the few times I have had to go out, to either get groceries or household supplies and things like that, it's been pretty light on the traffic. I haven't seen a whole lot of people that aren't doing something that they need to be doing. So that's a good thing. Even though like it feels like a self-punishment, I understand, but it's for the greater good of everybody. And I think that the majority of folks have that in mind and are trying to be a part of the solution, not the problem, and that's awesome.
Yep.
But brother, I appreciate you coming on here and doing this interview with me, and letting us know how things are going in Tennessee. And I definitely got to get out there sometime. Still hadn't been up to see y'all.
Yeah, come on anytime, man. We might have to rearrange our spare bedroom is kind of turned into as you can see, we got a green screen.
Oh man, yes, that is awesome. I've definitely, all right. So that is funny you brought that up, because as you can see behind me, I'm here stuck in the basement. So, which is actually what I've converted into my little office, if you will. And I was thinking about a green screen earlier today and how I can hook one of those up for doing things like this in virtual backgrounds, so people ain't got to look at a ladder and an air conditioning unit, which at the moment, I figure a whole lot of people are looking at things like that. So it doesn't really matter, just letting people know, hey, I'm not actually out in the world, but yeah, that's awesome, man. I definitely got to get with you on how to hook something like that up.
Yeah, I'd be happy to. It's been super nice. We make a lot of videos and stuff, and it's instead of having to buy a different background for everything we're doing, we live in an apartment, so there's no like photogenic areas for us to sit in front of to take videos. So I can be anywhere in the world.
Right. You can just set up a picture and there you are. That's awesome. Hey, and that's something for people who do things like this, to check out too. I mean, even if you could see a picture of yourself somewhere else, it might put you in a happier mood for a little while.
Yeah.
I mean,
Put
you know,
yourself at the beach where
it's
you want to be.
almost like being there.
Yeah.
Just put a green screen behind you, look at yourself on a video monitor, and put yourself in front of a beach and turn on a fan and just close your eyes or something, put on some audio. But, I mean, honestly, that's not a terrible idea. I might try that out later. But, I mean, you got to do what you got to do.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, man, I appreciate you coming on and doing this interview and coming on the Root of All Stuff and talking to our listeners. Yeah, please come on again anytime.
Yeah, we'll be happy to. I mean, it's been good talking to you.
You too, brother.
I'll catch you later, brother.
All right, man.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So as you can hear, it's rough for essential employees right now to do their jobs and be out in public and put themselves at more risk, for the benefit of all of us. But teachers like Andrew are, the future of this country and the world, really, because our children are our future, and we must have an education system in place, even with something like this going on. And it's rough, but we do appreciate Andrew doing the type of work he does, and all the doctors, nurses, and everyone else that's, scientists and biologists who are all working on, this coronavirus and working through this coronavirus for the benefit of all of us. We appreciate that. Up next, I had an interview with his wife and my sister-in-law, Crystal King. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and I'll play my interview with Crystal. Crystal, welcome to the Root of All Stuff.
Hey.
Hey. So me and your husband were talking about, the current situation with all this COVID-19 mess going on. And we was also talking about you guys and your music and everything and how that was going. So tell us, tell everybody what you do, first of all, like what you do for a living.
Okay. Yeah. Well, kind of two different jobs. So day job, part-time as music therapist.
Mm-hmm.
So I work for a psych hospital, doing music therapy. And then other half of the time doing singing, songwriting stuff in Nashville.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, as far as the music therapy, for those of our audience who, are not very familiar with exactly what that is or how that works, could you give us an overview of that?
Yeah. So, it works different in different settings, but I essentially at my job kind of run counseling groups. I just use music as sort of my tool. So sometimes we do songwriting or games that are musical or playing instruments, things like that to kind of provide opportunity for emotional expression, teaching coping skills, things like that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So how have things been at that job with everything going on? And I'm sure it's been different.
Yeah, it's been busy. Thankfully it's kind of actually kept me busy. I've picked up extra hours just since we've had to cut group or split groups. So units that have more than like 10 people on them, we've had to do 2 groups on each unit. Right. And so it's been interesting separated. And definitely kind of people going through a harder time right now, I guess, due to loss of jobs and just this has been kind of traumatic for people. So
yeah.
So I guess that some of our patients have been affected by that as well.
Right. Yeah, it sucks. So tell us, how have you guys been doing though? Your husband asked me, I didn't get a chance to like reverse the question on him. How are you guys doing with TP and household necessities and like that?
Luckily my coworker goes to the store like every day and she asks us what we need.
That's awesome. See, that's awesome.
Yeah, so she got us stocked up on toilet paper. And so right now we're okay on that. We were getting shorter and I was like, well, if you happen to see any, because last time we went to the store there wasn't any, go ahead and grab us a pack. So luckily
that's awesome, man. That's something we were talking about as well. People looking out for each other and how proud we were of people in general lately with like realizing, you know, we're not just individuals looking
Yeah.
out for ourselves. We're a community, you know. So
Hmm. Yeah, for
it's,
sure. So
it's
it's been great kind of having people like that reached out to us. You know, I think like our pastor and
right.
his wife and people like that just texting us and seeing, you know, how things are going. So
Right, that's awesome, man. So, yeah, tell me, me and Andrew were speaking about, you know, your other job, doing your music, and how it's affected that. You know, of course, can't really do a whole lot of live gigs with all of this mess going
no,
on. That
yeah, not
sucks.
many gigs,
Uh, yeah, that's a bummer. Like I say,
unfortunately.
I really hope that this doesn't last very long and we can get this under control so
Right.
you guys can get back out there and making awesome music.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's kind of had its pros and cons. It's definitely, you know, it
Right.
it stinks not being able to play because that's what we love.
Right.
And also just seeing we'd worked really hard to get April gigs booked up,
Yeah.
and then looking at all that work and being like, I'm
Yeah.
not getting to do any of that. But grateful that I do have the part-time job and they've
Hmm.
given me extra hours, and it's actually given us some time to do some catch up on some recording
Right.
and some things that we wouldn't probably have time to do.
Have you had some more time to do like any writing, any songwriting?
So I probably have had time to do more writing, but I've actually been kind of using that time to organize old songs.
Right.
So I've been kind of going back and seeing, you know, what old songs that I might want to polish up, or, you know, which ones are done, make sure I
Right.
have a recording or work tape or demo of all of them. So
All right. Cool.
kind of been working on that project.
I got you.
Yeah.
Me and Andrew were also. I had asked them, you know, about the music and you know the problem with not being able to do gigs and everything like that, and we were talking about you know how hard it is. You know, even in a place like Nashville, people don't understand it's not like the movies, and you know you don't always just get discovered because you're an awesome player. You
Yeah.
know, and that you really have to sell yourself and your what you have. You know, and get it out there yourself and basically you know manage it. You know, so it's not an easy gig, but
No.
you guys are awesome. You sound awesome.
Thank you.
You know, I've listened to everything you guys have put up. It's great.
Yes.
Um, and even though I already had him do it, I'm gonna have you do it too. Go ahead and tell people where they can find some of your music.
Yeah, so I have two singles. You Had Me at Double Wide and 90 Proof are out on all music platforms, so Spotify, iTunes, um, anywhere that you get your music, really. But my name's spelled with a K, so Crystal with a K and then King.
Hmm.
And if you just search that, you can find it. I have a website, and it's crystalkingmusic.com.
Okay,
And then you also, if you look on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, I usually post things regularly on those as well.
I got.
And we actually have a new single coming out next Friday.
Oh
So
yeah. Do
yeah.
you have a title for us?
Yeah, well actually it's not an original song. I'm gonna
Okay.
release a cover of the hymn His Eyes on the Sparrow. So
Okay. Okay.
yeah, so we just figured kind of during this time everybody needs a little bit of hope, and it being the month of Easter.
Right.
We just decided to, you know, be able to release something, and we actually did this one at home, so you know, a
Yeah.
little bit more nerve-wracking but also more special too.
It's
So
more
since,
nerve wracking at home.
well, you
You ain't
know,
got too many
it was the
eyes.
first one that we were doing ourselves and not
Right.
having like a producer and
Right.
an engineer do
Right.
it for us, because we couldn't go to them being stuck
Right.
at home for Corona. So
I'm
we
sure it'll be great.
yeah, so
You
I'm excited
guys are
about it.
and that's another thing, you know, we had discussed is, you know, with what you do, you kind of have to pick up so many extra skills.
Yeah.
But
Luckily
there's
Andrew has helped with
yeah,
that a lot. He's
but I'm
become
saying, you know,
photographer and
it's very useful though. I mean, some of these things that, you know, you can apply anywhere. It's
mhm.
amazing. And you know, you guys are doing a great job at it, obviously.
Yeah,
You
thank
know,
you.
I mean, if you haven't heard for this is for the listeners, if you haven't heard Crystal King, you're missing out. Get on there and listen to it, man. It's awesome. Uh, so tell me, have how has things been in Tennessee? You know, I'm in North Carolina, so as far as locally, how you know how are you guys doing? And what's like I know here in my county, the count is somewhere around 30 right now
Mhm.
with positive cases. Give me some local updates with y'all.
Yeah, well, I kind of have a tendency to be a little bit of a hermit and not check
Right.
numbers and news and stuff as much as I probably should. Probably a little ignorant in that regard,
That's all right.
but I think our numbers have actually within Williamson County, which is like Franklin, it's 20
Mhm.
minutes south of Nashville, and Davidson County, which is Nashville. I think the
Mhm.
numbers have been relatively high.
Mhm.
So that's unfortunate. And I think
Right.
Andrew said that they made the decision to close schools for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Um, and I think our stay-at-home order's been extended to at least April 30th.
Yeah.
So we'll see kind of where it goes. But I think
Yeah.
I keep myself busy at home, but I know a lot of people are struggling right now, especially because they had the tornadoes in Nashville right before this happened, and it's just been a lot for the area in general.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and that's another thing. You guys are right there near big cities like Nashville, where you have huge populations. I know, like around this area, I said, for Catawba County, it's 30, which we're a suburban. We got people, but it's not like a big city. And like Charlotte, it's crazy there right now.
I bet.
Where people, live in close quarters, and you really can't walk out of the house without seeing somebody, even if there's nobody out. It's wild. But it's a
We've been
struggle.
having to wear masks and things at work too.
Yeah.
Andrew got super excited because I brought home a stormtrooper's mask the other day.
Oh, that's awesome. That is awesome.
So so he was excited about that.
I'm not a doctor, but I think I'd take that over the N95 masks.
Right.
Not for protection reasons though.
Just to look cool, right?
Yeah. Yeah, isn't that what it's all about?
Exactly.
Nah. But really, you guys are doing a great job with your music and in your jobs, and I just wanted to let you guys know that people, even if they don't, they should, and I do appreciate the kind of work you guys do. Because I mean, this is why you are essential employees. Because you do things in the real world that really matter, and sometimes, unfortunately, like right now, that puts people who are essential to all of us at higher risk, which sucks. But we appreciate you guys doing it.
Yeah.
And,
Thank you.
Yeah. So, and like I say, it's terrible right now because you can't really do anything, and everybody's stuck at home. But he said you had something scheduled, hopefully for August, and like I told him, I hope it's before that you guys can get back open and get back out there and start doing some live gigs in front of people. But if not, I'll do my best as I'm doing right now to try to promote you, and I hope other people do
Appreciate
too.
it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, anytime. But yeah, Crystal, thanks for coming on the Root of All Stuff and talking with us.
Thanks for having me.
Oh yeah, anytime. Ladies and gentlemen, Crystal King. So that was my interview with Crystal. And I want to let her know that we appreciate her and the work she does. And for our listeners, please go out and check her out, man. Her music is awesome. Her and Andrew usually perform live gigs, but as I say, with coronavirus going on, it's definitely taken a hit on the entertainment industry for sure. And for all of us who enjoy going to shows and live concerts and things of that nature. But we hope you have enjoyed this episode of The Root of All Stuff. Unfortunately, my co-host, Josh Lutz, could not be here for this one. We hope to get him on the next episode via Zoom. So thank you guys very much for listening, and have a great day, and please stay safe out there. I know it's hard to do sometimes. You get anxious. You want to get out there in the world. You want to get back to normal. But I promise the fastest way to do that is to listen to our medical professionals and just stay home, stay safe. And the faster we can do that, the faster we can return to normal. Thank you.